Hello, class of 2020, and Casey and I are happy to welcome you to our video celebration of your graduation and all the growth and development and the years of living and learning and friendship that your graduation represents. In this video, you'll hear from faculty, staff, other members of the community. Very importantly, you'll hear from your valedictorian. There'll be some beautiful singing, there'll be some Latin, and there'll be content that members of your class have submitted as part of our virtual celebration of your graduation. I hope you enjoy it all, and Casey and I will be back to wrap things up at the other end of this video. Enjoy.
Hello, class of 2020. You'll recall you met me as public orator when I administered the matriculation oath for you when you joined the college. Matriculation marks a kind of beginning, an entry into the college. And you were reminded when you took that oath of being made members of the culture of living and studying together and being members of this community, not just for the 4 years or 5 years that you spent with us, but for your whole lives. Encaenia, in fact, is another kind of beginning, ironically, as you leave the college. The word Encaenia comes from an ancient Greek word meaning a ceremony of initiation, Encaenia. So in the spirit of initiation, of beginning new things, renewing our relationships and moving into a new world, I wanted to remind you of a couple of Latin phrases, not from the matriculation oath, but from the lecture you may have heard me give in the foundation year program in 2016. I lectured on the Roman poet Virgil. A couple of his resonant phrases keep coming back to me at this time when we're going through so much strange circumstance. One of them is when Aeneas makes a speech of encouragement to his shipwrecked sailors on the shores of Africa. He says, "Forsan et haec meninice iuabit." Perhaps someday even these things will be pleasant to remember. It may not be clear how that will be, but it stays with us and it encourages us. Perhaps a better line for these moments of goodbye and farewell are words that Virgil gives us in book 7 of his poem, when he starts a new phase of the Trojans' experience. He says, "Maior rerum mihi nascitur ordo, maius opus moveo." A greater order of things rises up before me, and I put into motion a new task. I think that's encouraging words for us all as we enter the new world outside of the college walls. And I wish you all the best until we can meet again with a real Encaenia. Thanks so much.
Hi, Sherri. It's nice to see you. I would just like our students to know that you've been a journalist in Nova Scotia and Canada with the Chronicle Herald newspaper and more recently with the CBC. And you've specialized in telling stories that wouldn't otherwise have been told. In particular, I have in mind your work on the Viola Desmond story and what you've done to bring that story to prominence and public consciousness. So I would like to take you back to the day when I had the pleasure of calling you to ask you if you would accept an honorary degree from your college. And I just would like you to share with our graduating students what that moment felt like for you.
After I got over the initial shock, I actually cried because your call was totally unexpected. I realized that I am in a very privileged position as a journalist, and that through my storytelling, I can help bring about changes in society and in people's lives. And that's not a privilege that I take for granted. So to have my work recognized partly because of the social justice and advocacy aspect means the world to me. It means the world to my African Nova Scotian community and also to the diverse audiences that I reach.
Could you talk a little bit about what advice you would give to young journalists starting out in the profession? Our graduating class, of course, includes many people who will be starting in that profession very soon.
When you start out in journalism in any newsroom, go in there, remain humble, because arrogance can get in the way sometimes, but just remain humble and always remain teachable. I transitioned from a complete newspaper career over to broadcast back in 2016, and I'm still learning. I consider myself a lifelong learner, and I'm still learning because in broadcast, I'm a baby. In newspaper, I was a veteran. In broadcast, I'm a baby now.
So keep learning. What about a broader message for our graduates?
I would say as they go out into their career, whether they're working locally, nationally, or internationally, to be passionate about the work you do. Always give back to your community. Always give back in a way that will help bring about changes in people's lives, especially in marginalized communities. There's a saying, lift as you climb, and that's exactly what I do, right? While I'm in journalism, I'm always thinking about bringing up the next generation, encourage them to be a sounding board for them, and that's part of the lifting as you climb.
That's a wonderful message, wonderful theme for our video. Sherri, thank you very, very much. And I look forward to seeing you again in person real soon.
I really look forward to the ceremony when it happens.
Now for a special treat. We get to listen to our beautiful choir perform a piece that they have pulled together specifically for this virtual celebration.
Congratulations, congratulations, we salute and honor you. Congratulations, class of 2020, here's to all of you.
Hello, Paul.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And as president of the Alumni Association, thank you for joining us for this video. How does it feel as president of the association to have almost 170 new members?
Well, it's fantastic. We're thrilled to have the new members joining. We're now a group of over 12,000, and it's like a big family and a welcoming family. So we're happy to have them join.
So I think I already know your answer to this question, but what has being a member of the Alumni meant to you in your life?
It's meant the world to me. King's really laid a strong foundation for everything that followed in my life and career. I would really encourage everyone to stay connected. You know, the friendships that you've made at King's are deep and lasting ones. I've certainly reached out to many of my friends, and I would encourage everyone to do the same.
So as we both appreciate, this is a graduation year like no other. What message would you like to leave with our graduating students?
Yeah, well, I would probably leave the same message that I received on my graduation day from King's 30 years ago this month. And that is that life and career are rarely linear. There are going to be lots of ups and downs and successes and failures. Don't give up. There's a strong and large and welcoming community of King's alumni behind you. We're here to support you. I strongly encourage everyone to keep that in mind and reach out.
That's wonderful. And Paul, thank you very much for joining us today. And I'll see you very, very soon in person. Now, to keep things rolling along, here are submissions from faculty and staff.
compelling, timely, relevant. Nice work. You got this.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Bill.
So when I did ask you to participate, you told me that unusually you were going to be in Halifax this year if Encaenia had been able to happen in May. Can you tell me about that?
As most of the graduating class probably knows, I teach a class in Berlin every 2 years in May, the Contemporary Studies program. The course, the Berlin course, was canceled. I mean, I have it like a film in my head. It's sort of the 11th of March or something. And I did think, within 2 hours of that cancellation, I did think, well, the one silver lining to this is that I will get to attend Encaenia this year, since of course I wouldn't be able to. Encaenia happens when I'm in Berlin normally. So that was the excitement, which then, of course, about 5 days later, then that tanked for the time being as well. So anyway, here we are.
Every graduating class kind of has its own personality. And what would you say about this graduating class in terms of its personality?
Okay, well, first of all, I would say it has lots of sides to that personality. It's a very complex creature. I would say, of course, they're super hardworking and smart young people, really smart, really rigorous, take their studies super seriously. But I would also say they're a joyous crowd. They have intense levels of camaraderie. They're creative, hugely compassionate, and kind of other-oriented. I would also say that of all of the, 15 graduating classes I've seen in my time at King's, certainly the one that has held us instructors, TAs, maybe university presidents, to the very highest possible bar. And I really appreciate that. I have grown a lot in my own experience as a teacher and as a person in a community, actually, through this class. So I thank them for that as well.
So if you were to leave them with some parting words of advice, what would those words be?
First of all, let me say congratulations. Graduating from university is a big moment in anybody's life, rendered, I would say, all the more unpredictable because of the times we're in. So I would certainly say that this huge period of transformation needs you. And I'm confident that you will, even though the world seems very unpredictable, very unstable right now, that you will meet the challenges that you encounter, and you'll do so with creativity, compassion, and grace. So just really maintain that open curiosity and that love for the world, and I think we're going to be just fine.
Sarah, thank you very much for participating, and look forward to seeing you in person very, very soon.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. I'm now pleased to turn the camera over to your valedictorian, Isabelle Reynolds.
I think that the main message that I want to give to our class and to kind of remind us of as we move forward is that we have definitely accomplished these degrees, and they have been difficult, and we've worked really hard for them. I want to remind us that there are other forms of knowledge and other forms of learning that are equally as valuable, and I don't want us to be falsely privileging a university formal education over those other kinds. My experience at King's has been really one of community, I think. Our year specifically has built a lot of really amazing spaces. We have fought tuition increases. We have created new societies. And we have really, I think, stood up for each other and fought and made sacrifices for each other in a way that was really revolutionary for me and really inspiring. And that's what I think about when I think about my experience at King's. I would like to really leave you with my gratitude. Thank you to everybody who has educated me, who has really taught me how to be called in for when I make mistakes. And I would also like to especially thank the wider community at King's. I want to thank the custodial staff, the library staff, the student workers, our patrol, our peer support, our front desk staff, the registrar's office, receptionists, the dining staff, especially. Everyone on campus has really made this learning possible, and I really want to appreciate all of those folks.
Before we have our next guest, we're now going to share with you some of the content that's been submitted by you, the graduating students. Hello, Celine.
Hi, Bill.
It's so great to see you. And I know our graduating students are going to be so excited to see you. This is kind of your graduating year from King's as well.
It is. Can you believe it?
Sadly. And our celebration of you had to be postponed, just like our celebration of Encaenia.
We are all together in it.
The Prince Hall is the hub of King's College, especially for first-year students. So you would know our graduating students very well. So when you think about them, what comes to mind?
Oh my God, Bill, I remember that first class of graduate so well. I remember some name of them, like, Cedric, Sam, many of them. But I remember more the face of all of them when they walk in Prince Hall for the first time. So young, look like kids. And then after that, they just like grow up, and every year they change. But what a nice family. The students are just lovely.
What are some of your memories of your own experience at King's?
I think you leave King's, and I have a hard time still to say that, because again, yesterday I was in the quad taking picture of the flowers and everything. I have to say, you never leave King's. King's is a part of your life, will always be there. I think you feel part of that family, that big community we are having, and you cannot forget King's. King's is a part of my heart, and all the students is also part of my heart. I always say to you, Bill, I do have 2 kids on my own, but I did adopt every year's 100 the student, because I care about them. I love them all.
I think every year there's lots of moms right across the country that are very grateful that you've taken that approach to taking care of their young people. Would you have a word of advice for our graduating students?
Never stop learning. Follow your passion. Be part of the community. That community, doesn't matter where you will be, is so important. And please, please don't forget, I'm on Instagram and on Facebook, and please, we keep contact to each other, okay?
Absolutely. And Celine, you'll promise you'll be back when we have Encaenia for this graduating class, won't you?
I will be there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Celine. I look forward to seeing you maybe when you're in the quad taking pictures of the flowers.
Thank you so, so much. And please, guys, don't forget, I love you all.
Well, hello, everybody, again. And Casey and I really hope that you've enjoyed our video celebration of your graduation. In many ways, this is a very special graduating year for me. The vast majority of you started your journey at King's either with Casey and I, because I started as president in your first year, or your journey at King's has happened after Casey and I became a member of the King's community. So although you are our fourth graduating class, in a special way, you're really our first graduating class. And we are very, very proud of you and very, very proud to have been part of your journey at King's. If Casey could talk, I know very well what message she would want to share with all of you. And it would simply be that I love you. And when Casey shares that message with you, if she could share that message with you, she'd be speaking for all of us at King. We love you, and we miss you, and we look forward to being together again with you at Encaenia. Thank you, good luck, and be well.
Congratulations, congratulations, we salute.